Final thing we have to talk about, Bruno Lage. It looks like I'm just waiting for the official confirmation from the club, but multiple sources are now reporting that Bruno Lage has been let go by Wolves, like I said at the start of this post-show. I mean, what happens next for Wolves?
I have no idea, to be fair. I think, Gary said earlier that they've spent a few quid this summer and it's not worked out. So they've gone quite early in sacking the manager, if that's the case. Is it a spur of the moment thing? Do they have someone else lined up, or is it going to take another couple of weeks with the caretaker manager, in which case could put me in more trouble? So you'd hope they've got someone planned and lined up.
Bournemouth seem to have worked out pretty well with a caretaker manager. We have to say that.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not too sure where Wolves go from here. No. I'm not too sure about what their transfer policy was. You've highlighted they spent a bit of money. Yeah. Switch formation. I mean, this is a group of players that have had a tried and tested back three for how many seasons now? 4 seasons, and been pretty successful by the way they've played and were quite an attacking force at times. They're a difficult fixture. They were Wolves, you'd say, probably last season before. It's a tough place to go and play, and they've just lost that a little bit. A lot of change, and it hasn't worked out. And it is quite an early exit for the manager.
Yeah. I think the ironic thing about it is the timing. Quite often a manager, coach is sacked leading up to an international period where there's a bit of a lull. So, there's just been this break, hasn't there? We've had the international football and now they've sacked him. But we know what this particular month and leading up to the World Cup is like. It's absolutely rammed with games. So I can only assume that Wolves have somebody ready to come in pretty quickly, because if they don't, the club remains in even more flux than before.
It could have been reactive off that result last night, or
against West Ham.
Yeah, possibly.
Maybe, but if it's reactive off that one result, then I start to question, the policy and the methods of the club a little bit.
Well, let's not forget, before Wolves kicked yesterday, the bottom 4 teams, well, West Ham and Wolves were there. And Forest and Leicester, the other two, they're facing off tomorrow. And yesterday it was West Ham Wolves. So the importance of that cannot be understated. You have to beat the teams around you. Yeah. That's what they often say, right? In order to stay in the division, if you go to City and you lose at the Etihad, OK, that's more of a gimme if you even get a point there. But you have to win those games, or at least get a point.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Sure, it's possible.
Because, I mean, there's some strange decisions. I thought Conor Cody going out. I know he hasn't been bought by Everton, he's out on loan, but still, he was the captain, wasn't he? At Wolves.
That baffles me, that one, whether or not there was something personal went on, or just, I don't know what the story is behind that, but to loan out a player of that experience and how long they've been at the club, and they're quite an influential person in the dressing room, great talker, exactly the kind of thing you need in a battle when you're at the bottom of the league, and he's now doing well at Everton. So that was a strange transfer or loan move for me.
Biggest talker. We heard that during Project Restart, and the stadiums were empty. He was their biggest talker by some distance.
Sure. And didn't they also have the situation, was it with Bolly recently, where he wanted to leave the club and he actually didn't turn up, having been named in the squad on a match day?
Yeah, that was a really contentious...
Concerning, isn't it?
Yeah, you're wondering what's happening behind the scenes.